guys have a lot of kind of old loves return, and you mentioned the 30s, and talk about that a little bit in terms of some of the things that you guys grapple with in terms of relationships.
Romance with Josh's grandmother.
Aiden has a big time romance with my granny. It's wonderful, guys. It's epic. For Josh anyway, he has I don't know actually how much I'm allowed to reveal. In the notes that we were given, it just says
it's not there.
Josh's a romance from his past comes back in an unexpected way. So
that's great.
Do you like that? I even did the air quotes there. But that one thing I can say is Nora is still a huge part of Josh's life at the end of season 1. That continues into season 2 and gets very, very complicated when said romance from his past comes back, it's cool for Josh because his need and his want in life is the thing that he finds most difficult to achieve. So it's and hurting other people is his biggest fear, and he's a lover, and it's really, really difficult for him. Which has been really fun for me to play. So I think you guys are going to enjoy it. It's going to be something that maybe you've experienced yourself in life. So hopefully that'll be the case. Maybe less painful, with less hair and blood.
In the werewolf part.
Yeah, the whole werewolf thing, I don't know if any of you are, but it's unfortunate if you are.
It's kind of don't ask sometimes.
It's not fun. It's not fun. It's painful.
Aiden's old love interest is the Surin character that we mentioned, played by Deacon Lockman. And it's interesting because how many of us have been in situations where we had a major longing for someone, and then maybe a year or two down the road, we actually have an opportunity to be with that person, and maybe it isn't everything that you thought it would be, And it's trying to figure out, because Aiden had this old love back in the 30s that he had these feelings for, but he was quite literally a different person back then. So to reconnect with that, what does that mean for him, and where is that going to go, and is it the best thing for him, and what does he think about all this? I mean, does he know that he's perhaps getting himself into trouble, or is this even what he wants anymore? It's very strange, but he gets very caught up in this and all these identity issues that come out of it.
And for Sally, her whole thing is trying to find a purpose. And in her death, I mean, that was her goal in life, is to have an effect on somebody and feel like she's contributing in some way to the world. And that never happened. So in her death, her longings are the same. She wants to feel important and special and unique. And so she falls for someone who's living in life and tries to be with him and will do whatever it takes to be with him, which also falls into the whole dangerous category that I was talking about before.
Addictive.
Yeah, your story's really awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so original and imaginative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say that I know that Anna and Jeremy going into season 2, one of the big things was Sally as a character is a dangerous character because she's a homebody, and there's a danger of that storyline really becoming stagnant, and they completely went the other way. It just takes off in such an amazing way this year. So
Well, it's wonderful because it starts like you think you've seen it before,
Right,
and then it goes, it just spirals out of control.
Yeah, it's really nicely balanced too and paced. They've really spread it out nicely.
Yeah.
And made the arc really, really even.
Yeah.
Love that.
So we're gonna open up to your questions. Before we jump in, though, I have one last one, which is, what about Bishop? Like, does he come back?
We might see Bishop again. I mean, you have to remember, we have 200 years of history being that guy, so you never know when he just kind of shows up. And Mark Pellegrino is just, I mean, he's tremendous, that guy.
Yeah,
he's fun.
I'm super excited for a couple of things that we've done.
Yeah.
Mark has been back in a small capacity this year, and it's just been so awesome.
So much stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to your questions with mics. So
Sagers, you don't get to ask questions. I'm sorry.
My question is, how are you feeling after that roller coaster last night?
We were all talking about that this morning.
A little jostled?
Yeah. We're thinking like, do children, are there like, is there a study that's been taken of like long-term effects of
I feel like I have
consistent, yeah.
I can tell you this, your personality has changed fundamentally.
Yeah, you can't
You're a lot more
tell.
violent.
Yeah, but everybody else can see it.
Yeah,
You are
it's
different.
like Phineas Gage, you got the railroad spike through his skull. He's turned into a different person, and that's you. That's you.
I feel different.
Yeah.
But my real question is, how important is it to explore the origins of the actual, not your characters, but the creatures? I mean, would we ever see like the beginning of the vampire race, or like the very first werewolf, or like, you know, really, really old ghost? Like, is that important, or is it more about just being in the now and the recent past?
In the vampire story, we do go into those directions, and you know, so it gets a little out there, you know. I mean, the challenge is to make that as human as possible, because, you know, with this show, say we're lucky enough to go several seasons, the gimmick is just having people deal with humanity, and you can do that, and that's our show. But we do attempt to go off into this into a little bit more of an old school vampire direction. And we hope you like it.
I think the show plays the best when it is grounded in some sort of reality. I think the Aiden plotline this year is something that's amazingly cool and going to be super fun to watch. But to be honest, my favorite stuff is when we're all just together.
Yeah.
You know, being normal with our afflictions.
Which, as the season continues, we find that these people crash together and suddenly have to deal with each other in very meaningful ways.